Good morning, Abel. Welcome, guys, to another Verbling class. Today we're going to focus on the geography of Brazil, and we'll get started very shortly. Well, actually, we can go ahead and get started now. It's already 8 o'clock. And who do we have with us here? Abel, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, teacher. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. My internet connection seems to be working this morning.
Oh, that's good. How about your hernia?
Well, I only just woke up, if you can believe it, 15 minutes ago.
Oh.
So it's hard to tell, but it looks a lot better, which is nice. So I'm happy about that.
That's great.
Right after class, I'm going to go for a nice long walk, which should help. But it looks like it's getting better.
Nice.
Did you sleep well?
Yes, I'm just wake up too, so I am little sleepy, but I'm resting very well. I rested very well.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that's good, you know.
Yeah, it's the main thing in the day, because if you want to be productive and do a lot of things and enjoy doing that, you need to rest, sleep very well.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. You can tell I'm still waking up. My wife is making me a cup of tea, which will really help.
Yeah.
So now, remind me, where are you from?
I'm from Argentina.
Which part of Argentina?
Yeah, I live in the north of Argentina, in the province of Salta.
So is it warm there, or are you high up in the mountains?
It's not so high. We are in a kind of, no, not in a kind, but in fact in a valley, the Lerma Valley. The altitude respect of the sea is around 1500 meters over the sea, the level of sea.
Okay, that's not too bad. I think I'm 200 meters above sea level here, 250.
Yeah. It's not so high here, but you can feel the sorry the you can feel the altitude. You can feel the altitude just going out of the city, because wherever you go from here, you for sure are moving higher and higher. For example, 130 kilometers from here, we have a very high point that is around 4,200 meters of altitude.
Wow.
Yeah, and even higher, you can reach the 5,000 meters over the sea level.
That's incredible.
Yeah, because we are in a pre-Andean chain place. We can see from the city. We can see the first line of the Andes, the chain of the Andes, the Andes chain.
I love the mountains.
Yeah, are beautiful. I love
Awesome.
riding my bike, and especially through the mountains.
Yeah, that would be really, really nice. I would love that. Argentina sounds like a beautiful country.
Yes, we have different places and different weathers, so it's really cool, really nice country. And people in general is nice too. It's very. They have a lot of hospitality. Are very nice.
Excellent. Well, let's see. Somebody just joined us. Who joined us, Abel?
I guess is Hyde. Hi, hello, Hyde. How are you doing? That
She
is
seems quiet.
the
Yeah,
yeah.
it's Hyde. Hello, Hyde. Abel saying hi to you.
Maybe she's preparing something to drink.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Hello, Hyde.
Hyde? Okay, well, I guess Hyde is not quite there. I don't know what's going on. I know I had technical problems yesterday, but I don't think it's me. Um, Everything seems to
She
look pretty good.
she just say hello, but she became quiet again.
I know, I know. Well, let's go ahead and get started talking about our topic today, geography.
Okay.
Now, you must be familiar with Brazil because you're pretty close to Brazil.
Yeah, I went there for a couple of times, and in fact, I lived in Brazil for 4 months in 2012.
Hmm. Do you like Brazil?
Yes, it's a nice country too. It's very big. With the people are really nice there.
Yeah.
The weather is cool, and they know how to enjoy the life very well.
Yeah, it's a large country. It's the fifth largest country in the world.
Whoa.
It also has one of the largest river basins in the world.
Hmm.
It has one of the largest populations in the world.
How many? 200 millions?
201 million.
Oh, a lot of people.
Yeah, that is a lot of people. It's a huge amount of
We
people.
are we are just the fifth part of that. We have only 40 million people here, but it's a lot of people too, for us at least.
Well, we have 35 million people in our country.
Oh, and you have a wide country.
Oh yeah, but we've got room to grow. It is a very big country. Um, and Brazil too. They have a big country, but like Canada, a lot of it is not usable.
Yeah, I know.
Most Brazilians live in cities,
Yeah,
and they have some pretty big cities.
yeah. Sao Paulo is huge. 40 million just in one state.
Hmm. Now, Brazil also borders the Andes.
No,
Um,
Brazil. Brazil? No, no, no. The Andes is the other side in the west.
right, but the what I'm trying to get at is the Andes. Part of the drainage for the Amazon. So to
Ah,
the it's not right on the border of the country, but it borders it uh, to the west. So the Andes are on the west,
yeah.
and a lot of the rain drains into the Amazon.
Ah, okay.
Okay, because if we look at a map here, we can see that Brazil doesn't really have much of the Andes. If you look at the very westernmost part of it,
Mhm.
it does come pretty close to bordering the Andes.
Ah, okay.
Let's see, it's a better picture here. And let me share this out. Here we go. Sorry, it's just taking a little while. Here we go. All right. So here we can see an image of Brazil.
Yeah. Ah, I understand your point. Yes. In some part, Brazil is close to the Andes.
Yeah, just that little bit there.
Yeah. Mhm.
And what's really remarkable is if we look at the Amazon River.
Mhm. Yes. derives from the Andes chain.
Yeah, so we have tributaries down here, and these look like small rivers, but you got to realize this is an image of South America, that these are probably actually pretty big rivers.
Yes, very wide rivers. If you can see that 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 map, is because they are really huge. For example, the Parana River in Argentina, near to Uruguay, you can see is much more narrow than they are above.
Yeah.
And it's huge. The Parana River is huge, really huge.
Yeah. No, it's most of South America drains through the Amazon River, and all these other rivers like the Negro, the Amazonas. They're all part of the Amazon River drainage basin.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of water. Just a huge amount of water.
Yes, in South America we have a water reserve underground, the Guarani, the Guarani reservoir. I don't know the name. Aquifer,
Aquifer.
Guarani aquifer, one of the bigger in the world.
Oh, I believe it. So it's huge.
Yeah.
Not only is it one of the 8 major drainage basins, it's just very extensive. It's not just a small area, it's a really huge area.
Yes, but as you said, it's not all usable.
No, you're right. You're right. It's a very hot area, very humid.
Yes, near to the tropic.
Yeah, and it's very hostile.
A lot of mosquitoes and malarias and diseases.
Lots of good things, eh?
It's not my favorite place to go.
No, it is a very hostile place. It can be a very dangerous place to be. Oh, Paco. Hello, Paco.
Hello, good morning here.
Morning. Where are you from, Paco?
I'm from Spain.
Spain. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, yeah. Oh, good afternoon. Yeah. Good morning.
Yes. Well, we're talking about the country, Brazil.
Yeah, I see.
Do you know much about Brazil?
Not much, not much. I have two very good friends in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
I knew them in the Camino de Santiago.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know much more about the country.
Do you know much about the Amazon River?
No.
No.
That's the classical things you hear, but not much.
Okay. Ruth, do you know much about Brazil?
No, teacher.
And
Nothing.
where are you from?
I'm from Ecuador.
Wonderful, Ecuador. Yes, of course. Well, let's take another look at the map of Brazil. So this is a map of Brazil here. You can see Brazil seems to take up a good part of South America.
Yeah.
You know,
Biggest part.
in the north, it's very, very hot and humid, and of course, in the south, down here, not nearly as hot, much cooler. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But what we can see is a huge portion of Brazil makes up the Amazon River Basin. This area gets a lot of rain, a really huge amount of rain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's relatively low, and it drains out most of South America. Now, we were just talking about how hostile this area is for human life. It's very, very hot. It's very humid. It rains a lot. But there's also a lot of very dangerous creatures that live here. In fact, if you fall into the water, depending on the time of year, you have a good chance of being lunch, breakfast, or dinner for some creatures. We've got the Pariba, which is a very, very large fish, and while it doesn't eat people, if you make too much of a disturbance, it can leap out of the water and knock you in, knocking you unconscious. This is a huge fish. We've got many catfish, big enough to, I wouldn't say swallow a man, but big enough to drag you under the water where you'll drown, and then have a nice meal. You've got piranha. We all know about piranhas. Now, generally, piranhas won't go after a person, but if it's the dry season and they're getting a little bit peckish, oh yeah, they'll go after you. There's a lot of fish, a lot of dangerous fish, and of course, you also have the risk of malaria. So, we have a lot of cities in Brazil, as you can see, that are on the coast. Right here.
Yeah.
And Sao Paulo is going to be one of the bigger cities. And the reason for that is because it is so hostile in the interior. Now, does anybody know how big Brazil is in population? Ruth, do you know?
No, teacher.
No.
201 million.
201 million.
201 million.
Right.
Very, 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 very large country.
Yeah.
And I'd say that Sao Paulo is probably one of the bigger cities. Can anybody guess at how large this city is in population?
Many millions.
Yeah, many millions. Anybody have an idea? Come on, let's have some people guessing. Ruth, give me a guess. Give me a number.
Maybe 100. I don't know.
100 people.
No.
100 million?
100 million, that's one guess.
Yes.
All right. Abel, how many do you think?
40 millions in the state of São Paulo, 20 millions in the city of São Paulo.
He is in Wikipedia.
Well, I'm not even getting to the state yet. If we look at Sao Paulo itself, there's about 12 million people there. That's a lot for a city.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Buenos Aires has 10 million and it's a crowded city.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Toronto has 5 million and it's a crowded city too. But
What about
it's a large country. Most of its cities are along the border. You know, it's quite sizable. And Russia, which is one of the largest, it is the largest country in the world, only has about 140 million. Canada, which is the second largest, only has 35 million. Then we go to the U.S., which is, I believe, the fourth largest at 300 million, 310. And then we've got China, which is truly a large country at 1.3 billion. So Brazil is a large country in geography, in terms of population, cities, and it has a lot of lakes. Well, what is it like in terms of vegetation? Well, what does Brazil have any deserts or grassland?
I don't think so.
Well, what do you think Brazil is made up of? What kind of vegetation?
A lot of mangoes, tropical vegetation, most of them. Mangoes, bananas, all kind of forest. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And if you look at this picture here,
Maybe like Ecuador.
Yes, very similar, I guess.
yeah. So I'm going to introduce some new vocabulary here. So we know that the Amazon is a tropical rainforest.
Tropical
And we can see this area here is a tropical semi-deciduous forest. So this deciduous means that trees will lose their leaves.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
And
Medita?
here we have grasslands in the very south. Here we have savanna. What do these words mean? What does savanna mean?
No
I don't know.
idea.
Something, a kind of desert?
Not at all. Not a desert.
No.
No.
Kind of land, I guess.
Yes, it is a kind of land. What kind of land? I'll give you a clue. The Spanish word is sabana.
It's a lot of help.
Grassland, right? Grassy hills and area. It's a lot of grass.
Okay.
Okay. And this area here, well, this is a lot of fun. This is called a thorny scrub. What does thorny scrub mean?
No idea.
No?
No.
Oh, yeah.
The Spanish word is caatinga.
Mm.
Caatinga.
No, I don't know.
Okay. It's vegetation that is, it's a very dry or arid part of the world. If you're from Spain, you might be familiar with this because Spain has a very dry and arid area. And you have plants, but these are very violent plants. They have thorns on them. Okay? These are plants that protect themselves against being eaten because it's a very dry area. They don't want to be eaten, so they have lots of thorns on them.
Mm-hmm.
So here we have a very, very dry area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thorny plants. And here we have savanna. So this part of the country changes quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have a drier area. We don't have a lot of trees. Okay. And then, of course, down here we have mangroves. Doesn't look like this country gets a lot of snow, does it?
No, I guess no.
Oh, no, sorry, this isn't mangrove. This is mangrove here. I don't know what I was thinking. Huge country. And, of course, they also get a lot of mining.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of minerals available in that country, too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the climate, it's always easy to talk about vegetation, which always leads us into climate. So I was just suggesting that maybe it doesn't snow in Brazil. But is that true? Does it snow in Brazil?
I don't think so, but I really don't know.
Yeah, it wouldn't snow in the north, would it?
In the north, no. I guess it's the warmer weather. The warmer weather.
So here we go. The blue area is all the tropical zones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's not surprising, is it? We kind of figure it to be a tropical country. Okay. Now what is the orange? Low altitude. Okay, it doesn't mean much, it just means it's low to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Now CSA, what is that?
Hot summer and temperature summer.
Yeah, that's kind of what a lot of us in Europe are familiar with, right? Kind of a more, yeah, we have a hot summer, but then we have a cooler winter. So the question is, do we ever get snow in Brazil?
I heard that once or twice snowed near São Paulo in the mountains, but I don't really remember that.
Well, if we're talking about Sao Paulo, which is right about here in the middle. Let's see, get the picture again. Sao Paulo is probably somewhere around here, and it can get down to temperatures of 15 degrees. Okay, now that's still a long way away from freezing, but 15 can be quite cool if that's your temperature on average.
Yes, but maybe some polar wave sometimes is used to occur here in the region.
Well, that's interesting. Now, in North America, yes, you have a lot of Arctic weather coming down through the continent, but in the South Pole, a lot of the currents go around in a circle. Okay? So, is it common?
No, for sure not common.
Yeah. So again, we're trying to find out if it actually snows in Brazil, and I'm trying to figure that out myself. So let's see if we can try to figure out, does it get cold enough, right? If it gets cold enough, then yes, we would get snow, right? Let's see if, do I have anything here that can indicate whether it gets snow or not? I don't know. What could I find? Do I have anything here? Because you aren't going to believe me unless I can give you proof. Oh. What is this? Well, this is in August 2010 in São Joaquim, Santa Catarina.
Oh.
So snow occurs in Brazil occasionally.
Yeah.
Virtually every year in some cities of the high plains in the southern states of Rio Grande do Sul and Santa Catarina.
Yeah.
This is where the coldest cities in the country where snow can happen, as you said, when the polar masses reach the region. Now, you want to... I'm slowing down here because I'm going to tell you something quite remarkable.
Okay.
For those of you who don't think it snows in Brazil, okay, Paco and Abel.
Yeah.
In 1879, August the 7th, the greatest snowfall ever recorded in Brazil happened. Do you know how much snow fell?
Half a meter?
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yes.
No,
I don't know.
2 meters.
2 meters.
2 meters.
Wow. Whoa.
Okay. And in 1957, 1.3 meters fell.
In which part of Brazil?
This is in the south of Brazil, Santa Catarina.
In the south?
And in 1985, they got a meter of snow.
It's a lot, but it's each time is less than the time before. So maybe the weather climate, warm weather is reducing the amount of snow.
I don't know, my friend. I just know that that's cold, and that's, in Canadian terms, that's a lot of snow.
Yeah. How much snow in your city usually?
We consider a lot of snow to be a foot or 12 inches.
Oh.
Which is about 30 centimeters. 30 centimeters will cause a lot of traffic disruptions, especially if it comes down quickly.
Yeah.
Most of the times we get snow anywhere from Around 6 to 8 inches, although sometimes we'll just get like a couple of centimeters.
But with just 1 centimeter over the road is difficult to drive.
No, not here.
No?
In Toronto, it is, yes. But outside of the city, no. We have the right tires. We put salt or sand on the roads.
Oh,
So no, you can travel at 100 or more on snowy roads. Okay, so not a big deal. But a foot of snow, yeah, that's going to mess things up quite a lot. And last winter we did get a lot of snow. So have I shocked you guys that Brazil actually gets a lot of snow?
Yes, for me it was a big surprise, and not just by the fact that it snowed sometimes, but the amount of snow. I can't believe that 2 meters. I know it's a long time ago, but it's a lot of snow for that kind of country with warm weather.
Now, Ruth, what do you think the hottest temperature ever recorded in Brazil? What do you think it is? The hottest temperature ever recorded?
It depends if Brazil has in Los Andes.
No, it doesn't depend. I'm asking you to guess in general. What is the hottest temperature ever recorded in the entire country?
Don't know, teacher.
I said guess. You don't have to know. Just give me a number.
4,300.
4,300.
40. Just 40.
40. Okay, yeah, because 4,300, you're talking about the sun. Okay, so 40, that's good. Anybody else have a number you want to guess?
You teacher, you speak about the photo that you are showing.
Yeah, well, that's cold. So we're going to talk about, yeah, that's in Brazil where it was snowing.
Maybe 10 grades under zero.
No, Brazil's a lot hotter than that. So we all know that Brazil's a hot country. So the hottest temperature has to be above zero, not below zero. Paco, what do you think the hottest temperature is? We hear 40 and 55.
I think the 50 something, 55.
It's actually 45.
45?
Yeah, 45. The actual is 44.7, but nobody goes around and says 44.7, so we could round that up and say 45.
The highest temperature is 45?
That's what the interweb tells me. The highest temperature officially registered, so this is an official temperature, was 44. Now with humidity, it can feel a lot hotter than that, but 44.7 is very hot.
Yes, of course.
Now, let's go the other way. What is the coldest temperature ever recorded?
-1 grade Celsius grade.
-1? Okay.
-1.
Ruth, what's the coldest temperature you think ever recorded in Brazil?
Maybe 10 grades under zero.
-10?
Yes, -10.
Okay. Yeah. So when we go negative, we don't say negative, or we'll either say -10 or -10. But most people just say -10.
Okay.
We know you're dealing with Celsius, and we know it'd be under zero. But yeah, we just say -10. Sometimes we just say 10 below. That's something we say as well. 10 below.
Okay, 10 below.
Okay. So we have 10 below. Paco, coldest
Or
temperature.
not 10 below precisely, maybe 3 below.
Sorry, you've already voted. It's minus 10.
Okay.
I
Paco.
bet more minus 15.
Oh, give the man a cigar. You are wrong, but you are the closest. The lowest temperature officially recorded in Brazil was minus 14.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
However, the summit of a mountain situated in the municipality of, I can't say this name, also in Santa Catarina, recorded a temperature of minus 18.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't include mountains, right? Because we know that mountains are cold.
Yeah.
So yeah, minus 14.
Mm-hmm.
Have I shocked you guys?
Yes, definitely, because it's very freezing temperature, even for Argentina, that is more in the south.
Yeah, when I told you that Brazil has one of the largest drainage areas in the world, that wasn't surprising, was it? Right?
Teacher, it depends about if Brazil is in the Cordillera de los Andes, maybe.
It doesn't really depend. It just is. That's a fact, right? These are recorded temperatures. It's a fact. It happened. Brazil does get a lot of snow from time to time.
Mm.
Okay? It's a long country. It reaches up into the north of South America, but it also goes down into the south. So it's not surprising when we say that the Amazon River is one of the largest drainage rivers in the world. We know this. We expect that. Are you surprised when I tell you that there's a lot of dangerous creatures in the Amazon?
No.
No, you hear about that.
Yes.
If I tell you there's a lot of people in Brazil and they have bad traffic, does that surprise you? No. Again, you hear about this. If I say that Brazil has the best football team in the world or is a huge football country, does that surprise you?
Neither.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. These are things we know. But now if I tell you that Brazil gets really cold, temperatures drop below zero on a regular basis, and the country has received as much as 2 meters of snow at once, you begin to think I'm describing Canada.
That's a surprise.
Yeah. It's very surprising.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
But now what I want to do is I want to get you a map of the
Yes,
world,
in
and I
those
want you
we
to see
don't
Brazil in relation to all the other countries, and you can get a better idea of
Okay.
how south it actually goes and how cold it actually gets. So let's see here. I like this one here. It's not a very pretty map, but it tells us what we need to know. So here we are. Here's a map of South America. And we can see Brazil here. What longitudinal or latitudes does Brazil lie between? Abel.
Yes, teacher, tell me.
No, you tell me.
Sorry, I wasn't here. I just arrived. Can you tell me the question again?
The latitude. If you look at the longitude and latitude, what numbers does Brazil fall between?
Okay. Latitude is 23.5 south and longitude. It doesn't show the latitude, the longitude.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're more concerned about the latitude, right? So it goes
45.
Yeah,
45 west.
No, it goes like to 33, right? 33 south.
Ah, okay.
Now, if we look at North America,
Mhm.
right, and we all know that it snows in the United States, right? Are you surprised to hear that it snows in the United States?
No, there is snows in the United States.
Normal.
Yeah, it's normal. Okay, so
Yeah.
let me show you something.
More to the north, mainly.
Okay, so here's a map of North America, eh? Okay, this is North America.
Mhm.
And the United States sometimes will get snow in Texas. This is kind of an average. Anything north of here, it's quite common to get snow,
Mhm.
right? And we can see that so that's 45, this is 30, this is probably, I don't know, 38 to 35. But it does get snow down here. I know it gets snow in Kentucky. It's quite often that it gets snow in Kentucky. It gets snow in Tennessee quite a bit. So when we look at these latitudes, it's very similar to what we see in Brazil in the south.
Mhm.
So it's quite common that the south of Brazil gets snow in the winter, and temperatures get very cold in the winter.
Teacher, and where do you live? Where do you live in North America?
I don't understand. We're living in North America. What do you mean?
Where do you
Oh, where do
live?
I live? Right
Yeah.
here.
How is called that part?
Yeah, it gets pretty cold. This last winter it was very cold. We had temperatures on a regular basis. During the day it didn't get above -10. And it was like that for weeks, and we get down to -25 at night.
Mhm.
In a
Great
normal
Lakes.
winter, the average temperatures are -2 as a high to -12. That's at the coldest time of winter. But last year was a very cold winter.
What's the name, teacher, of that place?
Well, we're pretty close to Toronto.
Uh, it's like a town.
Yeah, we live in a small town of about 50,000 people. It's pretty windy here because we're on a sort of a plateau and we get lots of wind. It's almost always windy. So again, in North America, it's quite common though that we will get winds come down from the Arctic and the jet stream will drip down like this in the winter. So anything around here gets very cold and a lot of snow. Down here, these states here do get some snow, but it's not as much.
Mhm.
So Brazil being where it is, along the equator, gets very, very hot, but down in the south, it does get quite cold, and it does snow. I would be surprised if it doesn't snow every winter. Okay? But like a lot of countries on that latitude, the snow doesn't stick. It might snow, it might stay for a day or two, and then it disappears. Right. Let's see, what other strange facts about Brazil are we not aware of?
People. I think
Let's talk about the people.
the indigenous that live in the forest that nobody knows.
Well, and these people don't seem to have a problem with malaria, do they? Or at least that's what we believe.
That people is very strong. They can live in any kind of a place.
Very hardy, yeah. So I think evidence goes back to about 11,000 years. That's when people started to emigrate into South America and into Brazil. Prior to 11,000 years ago, humans didn't live in South America. And we only know it's 11,000 years ago because we found pottery and other things. Maybe it was 12 or 13, 14. We don't know exactly, but we believe it's around 11,000 years ago. But the population wasn't very large. Okay?
Yeah.
However, starting with the 1500s, with the Portuguese coming to South America and the Spanish, we had colonization. Some might refer to it as an invasion.
Yeah.
Right? Depends on your point of view.
It was like...
Yeah, and from that point on, the population dramatically increased. As it did in North America, too, and other parts of the world. In fact, the 20th century saw some of the largest population growths where the world's population has doubled. Or even tripled. Let's take a look at that. What was the world population at the start of the 20th century? See if I can find this. Here we go. Here we've got a chart. Oh, you guys are going to be surprised by this. How many people do you think were on the planet in the 20th century, at the beginning of the 20th century? That's not a guess.
500 millions.
You're close, but you're still a ways off. So here's the beginning of the 20th century right here. Just change the color.
50 million.
No, that takes us over to about here. Okay, so about 1.6 billion. Right?
Okay.
At the end of the 20th century, the beginning of the 21st century, look at this.
6 billion.
6 billion.
Billion,
The population has tripled. Tripled. Now, look at this. If we go to the 1500s, which is when colonization of South America happened, that's ridiculous. 300 million.
Yeah. So you're right. We need to eat insects.
Yes.
I need
But-
to eat insects.
Something fascinating has happened. The population has literally gone up by 20 times since colonization began.
Whoa.
20 times. That's huge.
Yeah.
And it's expected to go up to 8 billion and 10 billion and 12 billion. Nobody really knows. But we're having too many babies.
The baby boom in the world.
The baby boom.
So, yeah, it's surprising. So we can see that, yes, the indigenous peoples arrived in Brazil around 11,000 years ago. And since colonization began in the 1500s, the population has gone up dramatically. In fact, the population of South America right now, well, the population of Brazil is almost as large as the population of the entire world in the 1500s. Think about that.
I read something that with the growing of population, the stress of the people living reduce the fertility, so reduce the birth rate. But I don't know that it's exactly because as if you see the figures, it's not what is happening today.
Well, an interesting thing will happen if a species overstresses its environment. That will cause a massive drop-off of the population. Because eventually you reach the maximum sustaining limit of the environment, the population reaches that area, and then there aren't enough resources and the population collapses. This has happened in the past. There was the Black Plague, so you had a disease, and because of the population density, it killed off half of Europe.
Yes, but they had no in that age some practices of hygienic practices. So, for example, the excrement and that kind of things weren't uh, accurately treated, so that produced a lot of diseases and so on. But nowadays we have a very better sanitary uh, customs and procedures. So I guess it will not be the case. But I don't know.
You know what? That's not exactly true. You're correct to say that there was a lot of dysentery. Things were not very hygienic.
Yeah.
However, look at Ebola right now. There's a bit of an outbreak of Ebola. It has a 50% kill rate. Look at the Spanish flu, how bad that was at the beginning of the 20th century. All it takes is something like this, where it's very contagious and has a high kill rate, and it's airborne. Now you automatically have a disease that could kill off a good portion of the world's population.
Yeah, we have.
Hold on. Or you have a major climate change one year that kills off a large portion of the world's food supply. So maybe you have a volcano erupting, it drops the temperature of a given year by 5 degrees, and a lot of crops in North America fail, or a lot of crops in Asia fail. If you had a significant reduction in food, you could have a loss of population.
Yes, but human being is researching and doing a lot of investigation to avoid that kind of adverse situations.
Well, you say that, but we only have so much oil, we only have so much natural gas, and we only have so much food and water. We're polluting a lot of our water. We're destroying some of our food in terms of, like, we're overfishing, we're taking good land and we're building stuff on it. So you say that, but we keep doing things that are rather foolish to sustaining a large population.
Yeah, that's true.
So these are some of the challenges. But let's not leave on an unhappy note. Let's talk about the positive things.
Okay.
All right. Now, does anybody know when Brazil got their independence?
No, I don't know.
Maybe
1800s. I don't know.
Maybe.
Do you know Brazil, teacher?
Sorry?
Do you know Brazil?
I don't know too. I'm looking right now. Let's see, when did they find it here?
$1850 or something like that.
Well, they received their independence from the United Kingdom of Portugal It was declared in 1822, recognized in 1825, became a republic in 1889, and the current constitution was registered in 1988.
So they take a while to write the constitution.
Yeah, well, Canada didn't get its constitution until 1982.
And Argentina was free in 1810, and the first constitution was in 1853. So
yes, and does it really matter?
Yeah.
Why? Why does it matter?
No, it's when you are free, you need some rules to
but
to live.
Organize it.
Who's free?
Yeah, to organize.
You as a citizen, does life change? Is it any different?
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
Yeah, because, for example, the Constitution gives you a lot of rights that most of them are natural rights, but a lot of the others are political or economic rights. So it's necessary to live.
You're right. There are certain rights that happen, but for the average person, you're paying taxes, and instead of going to one person, going to somebody else. You've always got a rule. There's always somebody in charge. And when you go independent, instead of paying your taxes or following the laws of one government, you're now following another one. You still have some sort of control. Now, Canada, Brazil, Argentina, Ecuador, when we received our independence, life really didn't change much. You now had a constitution, but you had one before. It was just another country's constitution. Right? You still had laws, they were just another country's laws.
It depends. Here in Argentina it was a mess at the beginning, after the independence, because we began fighting between us, trying to find a political organization, and it took a lot of years to do that.
Yeah. Well, it can happen, and in a lot of cases, especially in Africa, when a lot of the African nations reached their independence, things got worse, unfortunately.
Yeah, because of the dictators and that kind of things.
Yeah, and it's rare. If you look at independence, most countries that received their independence, things got worse instead of better. You know, it's sad, but, yep. They got their constitution in 1988, but we're an independent country back about 100 years ago. They have a very interesting flag. It looks like it's very simple, and then in the middle you've got a planet with lots of stars around it. So, the Brazilian flag.
Yeah, yes, and they have a sentence that says order and progress.
Yeah. A lot of countries don't have any words on their flags.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were saying last night that the Japanese and Canadians have the simplest flags in the world. Well, maybe not the Canadians, because a leaf isn't that easy to draw, right? Well, guys, believe it or not, we've reached the end of another class today.
Okay.
I want to thank you for joining me on our geography class.
Thank you for your information and knowledge to
Okay.
share with us. Okay, guys. See you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye now.
See you.